Guys, we got three things going on this morning. One, I have a piece of art by Tom Bunk that just came in, and we're going to be talking about rainbow collecting. So if you don't know what that is, I mean, yeah, everyone knows what it is, but it's when you take a character and you collect all the cards of that character. So I'm going to talk about the history of rainbow collecting in Garbage Pail Kids. And then as a subtopic, there's a poor quality to Chrome 4 I'm going to point out to you. I mean, it's so obvious. You might can see it from here, actually. All right, but anyway, let's start with the Tom Bunk. So I did have a Tom Bunk artwork come in, so I can't wait to open that. So that's always a good day. You know, it seems like there's a lot of Tom Bunk art out there to buy. There is for now, but he's running out. So if you look at what he's listing, he's really down to just concept art and some of these lower color roughs. He's sold pretty much all his good stuff, Garbage Pail Kid wise, that he's going to sell. And so while it looks like, oh, there's a ton of Tom Bunk art out there, there is for now. But in 2 years, you're not going to see any. So you'll probably think back to this time as, oh, I should have picked up a few pieces, and you should. Let's see what all this is. So this is just a cover thing. All right. The title of the piece is Homer Runt Screwball Lou. Original color rough for OS 7. Now this is significant because this tells me this is before the lawsuit. Now any art that's before the lawsuit is extremely rare and valuable. This is technically the only pre-lawsuit piece of art I own, besides the concept art pieces I have. All right. Almost as a contradiction, it says OS 8 up here. So now I'm confused. Is it OS 7 or OS 8? It says not finished by me. So who finished that? Was it Warhola? I can't remember. All right, there you go. So pretty nice piece. Lightly colored. It's color rough B. That means this is not the best color rough. This is the second best. So the color rough A went for sale 4 months ago or so. I don't know when it was, 3 months ago. And it's much darker and it's better. But I'm happy to have this. Again, it's the only pre-lawsuit piece of art I actually own. Besides concept art. I do own I have the I have the Cheap Toy box art, which is from 1986, so there's that. Anyway, Tom always throws something in, so this time we got this. All right, so I want to put this in the back, and we have actually a few topics. It's about the new era of collecting. I think we might actually be in a new era of collecting. At this point, I'm calling it the rainbow era. You're seeing mass hordes of collectors. Pretty much all collectors, for the most part, are picking out a character and they're collecting as many cards of that one character as they can. So, for example, Hollywood, you would just, start putting together a whole set of Hollywood. Now, this isn't a good example because there's not many Hollywood examples out there because he's not one of the most beloved, iconic characters. But you are seeing this a lot, especially in the Chrome era. Now, what's the origins of this? So the origin of rainbow collecting actually starts back in the early 2000s. What you were seeing were people who collected foreign atom bombs. Like get an atom bomb from Germany, an atom bomb from Russia, and they were putting together big rainbows of these cards. Because on a global scale, there was a lot of foreign releases. And so it's very intimidating, I know, at least for me, and that's why I never did it, and expensive, to try to buy all the foreign GPK shit that was made, like all the Japanese stuff. It would cost you a fortune. But what people would do, they would track down one character. Now, when rainbow collecting became more of a mainstream thing was with Flashback. So I do have some of those. Now, Flashback was the first time they made parallels. Now, I can't hold these without just saying how ugly the borders are. We called these taxi cab borders at the time. As you can see, I've been hoarding a lot of nasty nicks there. Yeah, I don't keep all the base cards. I just keep the best ones. But anyway, so when they made Flashback, they made this in green, pink, silver, and gold. Yeah, and yellow. And so this was the first time in Garbage Pail, listen, this is the first time in Garbage Pail Kid history that Topps made a set that was uncompletable. In the past, kids could buy a lot of packs and they can complete a set. And there's a checklist, and we would all checklist the back, right, with our pencil. And when we were done when we had all 82 cards or whatever. But when Flashback 1 came out in 2010, this was the first time that a single collector could not complete the set. And this is what began a new era of Garbage Pail Kids. There was people back in 2010 that were quitting due to this. Because no matter how many boxes of those fucking green graffiti-peaty Flashback boxes, you could have spent $20,000 on Flashback 1 and never complete the set. You would never find all the golds. It took me, I did have the silver set for a while that I traded for. It took a lot of work. I did have the silver. I actually wish I still had it, actually. But yeah. So that's when rainbow collecting became a thing. There was people that were like, you know what, I can't get them all, so I might as well just pick one character. And so you would see people with all the nasty nicks. They would have, pink, green, they would have the silver, and they would even find the gold one, which was like a $400 card at the time. Now, you skip ahead to 2022, 12 years later, it's gotten to a new level. They have made 4 Chrome releases. That's 4 premium products. They've made they've made Sapphire, which is a premium product. And now there's really nothing you can do except complete a set and decide if you want to do maybe a rainbow. So one thing I was reflecting on, when I was a kid and I got OS4, I actually loved OS4. I actually loved Hollywood. Beautiful card. If I could talk to my younger self, I was 10 when this came out, 10 years old, if I could tell my 10-year-old self, bud, when you're almost 50 years old, not only will you still be collecting me, but you will be spending thousands of dollars finding this exact card in different colors. Not only will you be collecting me, but you'll try to find me in every color that Topps can think of. That's crazy, man, because when I was a kid, I didn't give a shit about seeing this again. I was happy with this. It's perfection already. Also, something that's coming to my mind, I never wanted to see Armpit Brit again. I thought it was, funny, but it's ugly. It's pretty disgusting. I never wanted to see this again. So I don't really get why anybody would adopt this card to make a rainbow from. That's another thing going on. And I find it a little sad. So I want to talk a little bit about rainbow collecting. So a great example to start. So there's a guy I know whose name is Travis, who has been collecting this one character for the past decade plus. He has an awesome collection of Travis stuff. And so he's kind of made his mark with that, collecting Travis stuff, which is great. He even has the art, I think. I think he has the art to this, or had the art to this. So that's really amazing. But that's his name, right? So you get to someone like Slosh Josh. I liked this as a kid. It's kind of bland, if we're honest. Did this card stop you in your tracks when you were 10 years old? What about Trash Tracy? That's what I call her. Trash Tracy. I liked her as a kid, but never in my wildest dreams did I think when I got to be 50 years old, I would still be not only collecting her again, but trying to put together a whole rainbow of Trash Tracy of all people. What about Nikki Hickey? No. So there's a lot going on here in this discussion. So one thing is that, just one thing we've kind of already said is that OS4 is, it's starting to fall off a little bit. I mean, obviously Bunny Tony's, good. Is this a character I want to spend $6,000 trying to find every one of the colors of? No. Come on, man. What about this card? Who is collecting the rainbow of Furry Murray? If you're collecting the rainbow of Furry Murray, you have a very sad life, and you just need to hang it up, bro. One thing I wanted to say as well. Do you know that there's people who are deciding? Okay, so they're looking at who's collecting Hip Kip. And if someone who has more money is collecting Hip Kip, they decide to switch and collect Walt Witless. So what you're seeing is there's actually kind of a society or like a social thing going on of people adopting characters based on social economic status. I mean, if I only have, $3,000 to spend on Hip Kip merch, and there's another guy out there who's going to always beat me to the punch or whatever, then yeah, there's going to be considerations. But to me, it's fucking sad that here at around age 50, we're having to compete over cards that don't deserve to be competed over. Now, I've always loved this card, Rocky Horror, so I can see some of the buzz around that character. But who is collecting Swollen Sue Ellen? Who's spending thousands of dollars collecting rainbows of Swollen Sue Ellen? Yeah, I would like to see who that is. I personally don't know any collectors named Ellen. I don't know any Blairs. Oh, here I have a. Maybe I can be the first collector to collect this character. But the issue is, if I'm going to continue this rainbow out and make something, significant, I'm going to have to spend so many thousands of dollars, so much time tracking down these fucking cards for characters who I don't think deserve to be collected in that capacity. Now, Max X, now known as Maxi X, definitely holds higher standing, and Alien Ian. But then you have characters who I don't get it, man. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is quality. So this is something I noticed right off the bat about the quality. So let's just take our friend here. Let's see, Rocky Horror. Alright. So if you look at this card, nice, deep, saturated. Look how strong the pink is. Look how dark the character is compared to the chrome card. Look at that. Yeah, so I was noticing this. I guess I do see a little more detail than I thought I was going to see. There's obviously another card that was really standing out to me was this one. There's something off about the colors of Battered Brad here. You know, I think I actually already pulled that card. I can't find it. Anyway, let me just compare them. Yeah, he's super gray looking to me. I don't know if you guys have that issue with your chrome Battered Brad. He's coming out very gray looking. So there's a little bit of quality issue across the board for some of these cards. That's really, really sad to me. That you know, they want us to recollect. I mean, we're having to recollect these cards. We bought these cards back when we were kids, so we're having to recollect supposedly a premium product here that is not as premium as it can be. So there's that. All right, so guys, be thinking about the Rainbow Era. Should we change the name to Rainbow Era? Are we in a position where pretty much the only way to collect Garbage Pail Kids is to pick a character, adopt a character, and buy as many of that one character as we can? Because what else are you going to do? You're going to find every Chrome card ever made? No. Now, I will say this is something I want you to think about. If I adopt a Garbage Pail Kid to collect, so if I say I'm going to be collecting Woody Allen, that's not what Garbage Pail Kids was supposed to be about. So when you bought a pack of Garbage Pail Kids, you're supposed to find them all. That's why there's a checklist on them. So by collecting one character, you're not really collecting Garbage Pail Kids. You're just collecting one character. Now there's something even worse about this. What does that remind you of? Adopting a character. Cabbage Patch Kids. So the idea behind Cabbage Patch Kids is a girl would adopt a baby doll. That baby doll would come with a name. That meant something to you. And you would nurse that baby doll. You would house that baby doll. You would take care of that baby doll for a long time, for a period of time, like a mother would. That's what Cabbage Patch Kids was. Garbage Pail Kids was never supposed to be about you picking one character. It's not about adoption. Guys, there's a topic coming up I want you to be thinking about. Has Garbage Pail Kids lost its soul? How the fuck have they turned this into Cabbage Patch Kids? I've heard about this happening where a product gets so overplayed it becomes self-parody and it circles back to absolute the backwards thing that it was supposed to be to begin with. So it's really sad that Garbage Pail Kids is becoming Cabbage Patch Kids, and you're having all these grown fucking men, these fucking 50-year-old men collecting and adopting their little baby dolls. They're spending thousands on their one baby doll. Sad. Russ Van, out. No, she's cute.